is my real test.
Oh, come on. I need a win. I need this.
Isaac, what are you doing?
Huh?
Isn't there something more important you should be doing, like studying?
Sure, whatever. Leave me be.
This is Isaac. It is the middle of finals week, and he is here in the middle of the night playing video games. He hasn't eaten in 2 days and hasn't showered in over 2 weeks. After only half a century, video games have become one of the most popular and undetachable activities in people's lives. Addictions, the growth of industry, revolutionary technology. This is the world of video games. Before the age of video games, youngsters were forced to entertain themselves in a much more varied way, using their surroundings and the technology of their time to find ways to pass the time. Watching television has been around for many years, with the first electronic television being successfully demonstrated in 1927 by 21-year-old inventor Philo Taylor Farnsworth. Listening to children's programs such as Superman, The Lone Ranger, and Bobby Benton and the B-Bar Bee Riders was a daily activity during the days of radio that was very popular and beloved throughout the mid-1900s. During this time, America was, as former British Prime Minister Winston Churchill put it, at the summit of the world. Within the 50s decade, America had a booming economy accompanied with the world's mightiest military force. Luxurious cars and other consumer products were more available to the masses than ever before. World War II itself and its post-war boom held great significance for the origins of video games, specifically influencing a German native by the name of Ralph Baer. This revolutionary man would change American culture forever, and a few decades later would become known as the father of video games. Born Rudolf Heinrich Baer in Germany in 1922, he fled to the USA with his Jewish family before World War II. He changed his name to Ralph, and when World War II erupted, he was recruited to work in the US military intelligence in London. His eureka moment came in the 1960s, when the price of televisions had dropped, opening them up to other uses. Baer came up with the idea of playing games on screens and cemented both his dream and legacy when he designed the first video game console. Known originally by the name of Brown Box, it was revamped as the Magnavox Odyssey in 1972 when Baer originally licensed his first design. Video games moved from the arcade to the home with the advent of the home console, the first of which, the Magnavox Odyssey, had a short-lived life before being taken off the shelves. However, the new trend of consoles was not dead with it and has lasted decades, spanning 8 so-called generations. The first generation of consoles, namely the Odyssey, followed by Atari's home release of Pong, spanned 5 years from 1972 to 1977 and led to the second generation of consoles, which brought a second edition of Magnavox's Odyssey and the release of the Atari 2600, which pulled in millions of sales, but the creation of high-profile games with little effort put into them, most notably E.T. for the 2600, led to the so-called video game crash of 1983. Most of the public had begun to view video games as a waste of time and money due to their decrease in quality as developers began to care more for money and quantity over quality, and the industry was sighing out its last breaths, it seemed. This crash, during which the third generation came and went with no innovative or important consoles release, lasted until Nintendo jumped into the fray with its Nintendo Entertainment System and Sega released its Master System. This fourth generation of home consoles also saw the release of Nintendo's insanely popular Game Boy, the system to begin the trend of handheld, fully portable consoles.
During the 90s, the home consoles, mostly made by Japanese companies, had been very successful in the global market, but two-dimensional games had become stale in the public's eye. From 1993 to 2001, the fifth generation of consoles emerged as graphics shift from 2D to 3D, and cartridge became compact discs because CDs were cheaper, faster, and able to store more data. This graphical change led to the creation of new genres such as first-person shooter and survival games like Tomb Raiders for Sony PlayStation and Super Smash Bros. For the Nintendo 64. The unprecedented development of personal computer also contributed to the growth of video games. In the late 90s, PC and Internet allowed people to download games online. After 1999, more games appeared on website browser with full SD resolution. In the 21st century, a new era began after the release of Xbox, Dreamcast, and PSP, which usually had 128-bit graphics and higher CPU performance. As hardware and software became much stronger, the design of consoles changed to be more flexible and portable, and in 6th and 7th generation, the games became even more fit to people's daily life as the movement sensor and multiple player were applied on these smaller consoles. Some popular consoles in this period would be Xbox 360 and Wii. However, after 2010, the new mobile device system, especially Android and iOS, provided smartphone and tablet a new platform for gaming. The games become more complicated and challenging as players are more likely to play with real players around the world. Therefore, today video games is the joint of internet, entertainment, and technology that is still growing exponentially.
太好玩了，这太好玩了。
Jinghao, you noob, learn to play the game. Jinghao, you noob, get no-scoped. Mom, get the camera!
Why？ 为什么要死啊 ？Why？ I said 你个猪队友啊！
This constantly growing business soon became a major part of many aspects of American life. Economically, the video game grew to be about a $22.4 billion industry that continues to grow even larger over the years. This economic upsurge follows the rise of consumerism during the 1950s that allowed Americans to spend more on enjoyable goods. Soon video games were being sold at impressive rates and one of the largest industries in America was born. As Americans become more invested in entertainment, video games soon became a staple of the American lifestyle. The video game has grown into our American culture, spreading through our phones, computers, and televisions. In 2013, gamers spent about 6.3 hours playing video games per week, which is an hour increase than 2 years ago. As phone games are becoming popularized, Americans are becoming even more engrossed in gaming. It has become a way many parents are connecting to their kids, as well as it is estimated that 59% of parents play video games with their offspring. The reach of this form of entertainment has begun to be brought to the big screen as many popular video games like Assassin's Creed has been made into feature films. Video games has integrated itself as a special pastime of American people that may becoming too popular. Recent studies show that video games' widespread growth has many harmful effects on the environment as well. The large industries that create the materials for games use a lot of resources to make their goods. It takes about 0.4 gallons of oil to make 1 pound of plastic, and the amount of plastic used for consoles is enormous. The unfortunate reality is most of these are not decomposable, so they will continually build up and accumulate waste that the world will have to deal with. Video game addiction has spread as the video game empire grows as well. Many addicted individuals are prevented from developing social skills, as almost 50% adults reporting addiction have a strain in their marriage. Along with this is the growing violence some gamers have shown. Violent games have affected gamers' perception on society, as the lack of social interaction seems to dull many addicted gamers' emotions. Many amateurs have reported to have a massive drops in academic grades and health, which is a direct consequences to gaming addiction. While entertainment is an essential component of the American lifestyle, video games have grown to have too much hold on many people today.
Video games are a very controversial topic in the world today, so we decided to take to the streets of Northwood to ask individuals whether they thought that video games were good or bad for society.
I think it's really bad because, Crash Royale, everyone plays and it's addicting and
I think video games are a great thing for society. It helps people lose some stress and stuff.
I don't think they're good or bad. It just depends on how much time you spend on it. So if you spend too much time on it, it's bad for you.
Problems associated with video games, such as violence, overproduction of plastics, and gamers' isolation from society, can all be solved by changing the message of the game, as well as switching to digital downloads. Video games, such as GTA, advocated violence that can potentially lead to younger generations in believing justice and brutality. An 8-year-old Louisiana boy intentionally shot and killed his elderly caregiver after playing a violent video game. However, just simply switching characters in the game can significantly lessen the negative impact of video games. For example, violent games focusing on defeating aliens rather than humans can change the mentality of gamers on enforcing harm on fellow human beings. To solve the overproduction of plastics, companies can create a console made out of recycled plastics. Not only is it environmentally friendly, it can also attract more customers since environmentalism helps humans realize the importance of saving our own planet. In addition, companies should promote downloadable games rather than disc games in order to reduce plastic consumption. Last, to prevent gamers from isolating themselves from realities, games can be coded to shut down after a certain amount of hours. Again, in 2013, gamers spent about 6.3 hours playing video games, which is an hour increase than 2 years ago. For example, if a gamer played a game for 3 hours without resting, the game will automatically shut down and can't be turned on after 5 hours. In this way, gamers can take a break from the intense video game and explore the world outside.
As the world progresses through the 21st century, video games will continue to grow in its connection to society. It represents humans' great technological achievements and hopefully can become a positive force so the world can move into a brighter future.